Oh, my sunshine again. Amazing. I was wondering if I would have a different kind of alignment because the sun switches location, whatever, through the time of the year. So anyway, still right on me for class, and that's a great sign. So thanks to folks for logging in. I had to go back and check. So this is our eighth week of the summer session, which is really exciting because I honestly, first of all, I didn't know if anybody would show up, but and I didn't know how many weeks we would do. So this is number 8. Well done. I'm going to be not doing the class for the next few weeks. Next week I'm in Toronto, and then towards the end of the summer, which I hate to say, but now that we're in August, the end of the summer, it's on its way. Heartbreaking. But anyway, usually the last couple of weeks of August are really, hello, Jeff, are really busy. So anyway, you've got recorded content. I will update folks soon and let you know kind of the plan for the fall because I think there should be a plan. And if folks have a moment in the next couple of weeks, shoot me a message. If this time works for folks, I'm happy to keep going. If people really miss Sundays, let me know. I'm not missing Sundays. I'm really enjoying the evening. So if that works for you, let me know. Uh, so yeah, that's my ramble while I see people log in and log on. And so tonight we are going, and I'm looking for my water. It's somewhere over there. Pardon me. So we're going to be talking about energy and balancing energy because, again, at this time of the year, and I always find after the weekend that just was, for whatever reason in my life, that's like the long weekend in July, August seems to be when people return to Nova Scotia to visit home, to visit friends and family. So I've just had massive social things going on, more so than normal. And so I was doing a check-in on my own kind of energy balance. So when I'm doing a lot of social stuff, I really rely on kind of just being quiet and chill. And when I am really busy with work stuff and maybe not outside playing as much, I also feel that shift. When I do get all that great rest and get out in nature the way I like, and I've been doing a lot of swimming recently in the ocean, which is delightful. It's been 16 degrees, so I'm not a trooper. Um, but when I do stuff like that, I feel a recharge of energy. And so, what I want you to do tonight is to think about where you are energetically, and it can change during the course of the day. But think about when you check in on yourself for energy. Think about what you do when you figure out energy slumps or rises. So, do you want to hang on to energy? Do you want to get rid of energy? And then, as we go through the postures tonight, we will find our way through that. So, sorry for all the yakking, seeing people logging on. I think now we're ready to begin. Jeff certainly is. So, starting with that check in, relax your shoulders down, a little bit of tension through the core. Cuddle a dog if you've got one. And then just start to deepen your breath, really entering your practice with intention. So, as we ground into the practice tonight, start with a question around where is my energy? Do you have a lot? Do you have not enough? Or are you in that Goldilocks zone, perfectly balanced? And as you're reflecting on where your energy is at, reflect on why it's there. ask yourself the questions. Once you're done thinking about why the energy is where it is, think about what you would like to happen with that energy. How would you like to direct it? Or would you like to attract more? And just sit and ponder and breathe and do not feel rushed. So we're going to keep breathing for a few more moments here, just sitting quietly, peacefully, again, reflecting. If your brain is starting to race and you're getting ahead of yourself, then take a moment and reflect on the difference between energy, like the energy flowing through our body, and feelings of like, oh, I'm tired because I didn't sleep. Think about if that is the same for you. Does low energy mean tired? Does high energy mean awake? Or is it something else? All right, so you can open your eyes and keep that breath nice and flowy and deep. And then just start with small rolls of the shoulder. I actually really enjoy thinking about energy. And to me, it's so ever changing, right? It's not just about physical energy, but it's about kind of social energy, emotional energy. Let's switch direction with the shoulders. And when we're thinking about kind of our yoga practice, let's bring one hand down and the other arm's gonna stretch up. Hello. Stretching up, 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 and then slowly just starting to lean across the midline. Just letting your body be a little bit soft in this stretch. Let's come all the way up and down, and we're gonna switch sides. And I completely lost my train of thought because I was looking at this adorable dog beside me. But I wanted to say, with all of the check-ins that we're thinking about this evening or this afternoon or whenever it is that you're watching, let's lace the fingers, pull forward, rounding the back, chin to chest. And then reverse. So we bring the backs of the hands to the chest and bring the shoulder blades together. Maybe the head comes up. That's my in breath, my out breath. Rounding, pushing forward. Coming in. And one more, pushing out. Good, and just releasing down. Right. So what I want you to also consider when you're thinking about energy is in terms of yoga, so union. So as we're going through the practice tonight, notice what's the piece that's dragging. We might think, oh, I've got this great energy. I have so much to give. But then you are having trouble, kind of keeping up with the postures, or maybe the breath is feeling weak or the brain is racing. So just kind of notice if stuff is in sync and if the assumptions we are making about ourselves can actually be backed up by what we're observing during the postures. So let's come all the way up onto our feet. Otherwise, I'll be distracted by Jeff. Perfect. Shoulders back, feet are apart. Make sure you've got good space because we're going to start to bring an arm up and around. And then the other one comes up and around. And then we do one and the other. And as you're doing this, keep the hips and the pelvis facing forward. Find your breath during this range of motion. And then relax. Good. Give the shoulders a little bit of a bounce. I don't know if anybody else was having cracking, creaking shoulders. I was a little bit. And this time when we do it, feel free to twist a little bit if you want to be a little bit more fluid and a little bit more expressive. So sweeping, sweeping. You can kind of roll from one foot onto the other. So in a range of motion like this, it's so basic, right? But think about kind of pulling energy up through the feet and this kind of washing motion that we're doing as you're pulling that energy up the midline of the body, kind of expressing it out the top of your head. Maybe get bigger with the range of motion. But the other thing that we're doing is we're loosening up the body, we're warming up the body, and we're releasing any of those tight spots and creating space. And when we create space, energy can flow. That's why it's so good to tidy and to like purge a closet. Once we create that space and that sense of order, energy can flow. Okay, can we reverse that? I don't know if it feels as good. And if we reverse this, are we pulling the energy and pushing it down? So does this soften the energy? Pause for a moment. Think about what felt easier, the opening or kind of the pushing back down. For me, this was physically harder. And I don't know if that's just my brain playing tricks on me or if that's actually what's happening. So let's do that again, just gently, with lots of breath, moving everything around. And then reverse it. And relax. Take a moment, check in with yourself. How does that feel? Did that wake you up, make you feel energized, or are you like, why did I show up? Take a big breath in, sweeping up. And exhale, blowing it out, back to the fingertips, kind of running across the mat. Oh my gosh, I remember my words. Inhaling up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and out. Once more, and out. Hang here, drop the head. Bend your knees a little bit and walk to one side. Kind of walk your way with the hands around the foot. Experience a stretch. Walk to the other side. Experience a stretch. Back to center. Let's roll up. Bit by bit by bit. Reaching up. And gently releasing down. Excellent work. Again, quick check-in with yourself. Close your eyes, hand to the heart, hand to the tummy, shoulders back, breathing deeply. How's it feeling so far? All right, releasing the hands, opening the eyes. Let's go through a little bit of a flow, and step by step as we do this, I'm going to give you options to either open a posture or close a posture, your choice. But when we open, we're releasing the energy or letting it flow through us. When we're closing the posture, we're holding it in. And there's nothing selfish about that. It's really restorative sometimes to hold it in. That's how we strengthen, grow that energy so we have more or more stable energy to share. I'm going to start at the top of my mat. This is super familiar. Everybody knows this. If you have a little bit more energy, maybe feet are further apart. If you want to really start to lock it in, bring your feet together, side by each. Inhale, sweep up, nice and tall. Connecting the hands if you want to keep the energy in. Keep the hands apart if you want it to flow through. Stretch up as high as you can, then swan dive forward and down. Touch the floor. Lift halfway, so our flat back. Lengthen here. Exhale, touch the floor. Inhale, sweep up. Think about what to do with your hands. Where do you want the energy? And exhale, forward fold down. Touch the ground. Up halfway, shoulders come back. Exhale down. Let's come up again. Inhale, grab energy in your hands. And exhale to heart center. You're getting the hang of it. Decide what you want. This is like a choose your own adventure book. Let the energy out, keep it together. Inhale. Exhale. All the way down, touch the floor. Lift halfway up, shoulders back, nice long spine. Then bring the hands back to the floor. I'm going to step back with my right foot coming into a lunge. Okay. We're pretty closed here. We're pretty grounded. We're a smaller version of ourselves in this posture. If you want to stay here, you can gladly stay here. My goodness, the sun is bright. So you can stay here. If you want to open this up, I'm going to invite you to weight bear on the right hand, which is lined up with your left foot. Then the left arm comes up into the air. Spread the fingers wide. Breathe here. Bring your hand down and frame that front foot. Let's lean back and forward, rocking back and forth. Step back. Lift to a flat back. And forward fold. Inhale, sweeping up. All the way back down. Touch the floor. Up halfway. Fold forward, touch the floor. This time, left foot steps way back into your lunge. Lower the hips, nice and low here. So same as before, you can either hold here in the lunge, or if you want to open it up, express energy, left hand or left fingertips on the floor. Right arm reaches up. Spread the fingers wide, keep the hips low. Hello, Ted. Lots of breath here. Bring the hand down, close it in. Just leaning forward and back, rocking here. When you're ready, step that foot forward. Rise to a flat back, holding down. Inhale, sweeping all the way up. And exhale, hands to the heart, just breathing here. So as you're breathing, what I want you to reflect on is don't fall into the trap of competitiveness. So if you have received all the messages from your body saying, I need a more peaceful practice, or I need to hang on to this energy, then do not open up to the side. We're going to do that again and do some thread the needle. If you need to hold that energy tight, don't give it away. Hold it tight. Doesn't matter if you see other arms going up and down. Do what works best for you. Let's come back forward. Let's sweep up. Swan dive forward and down. Up to a flat back. And folding forward. Drop the head. And your right foot steps back. So if you do want to hold your energy in, you could also lower that knee to the floor, uncurl your toes, and hang out here to really get that gorgeous, juicy stretch through the hip flexor. Otherwise, you're in the low lunge, you're going to weight bear through the right hand. Left arm comes up into the air, reaching high, big jazz hand. And then as you exhale, thread the needle, coming under that arm. So you're kind of reaching under the arm of the armpit, maybe patting yourself on the back if that feels good. Inhale up. Reach for the sky. Exhale. Pat yourself on the back. So we're pulling energy down and tucking it into ourselves. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale. Stretching through. Release your hand, frame that foot. If you're down on the mat, pop up, rough back and forth, step forward. Lift to a flat back. And exhale down. Inhale all the way up. Swan dive forward. Hands to the mat, lifting halfway. Shoulders roll back and back to the floor with your hands. This time, left foot steps back. So find a nice low lunge. Again, you can drop that back knee, uncurl the toes, sinking here. Or if you want to thread the needle, weight bear through the left hand, right arm up into the air, reaching high. And then exhale, reach through, grab a shoulder. Inhale, throw that energy up into the air, and then exhale, reach through. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, reach through. Release that hand, rock back and forth. If you're down on the knee, come on up. Step forward. Flat back, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale all the way up. Hands to the heart. Breathing here deeply. I'm going to check what's going on my screen. Give me 1 sec as I grab my glasses. I'm getting some feedback. Excellent. Okay, let's take that a little bit further. I'm going to switch my direction, see if I can get right out of the sunbeam. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands come down. Right foot steps back. So we're all still together here. Lower your back knee, uncurl the toes. Everybody is together. We're going to do a low twist if that's comfortable. So if you want to hold the energy in here, you can lean right onto that thigh. You could bind by bringing your arms under that leg. Watch your balance, long neck, soft through the face. Otherwise, you're going to weight bear between that left front foot, right hand, left arm comes up into the air. Hold and breathe, whatever posture you're in. Releasing out of that, flip your back toes under. We're going to step up and back to down dog. Drop the head, breathe deeply. Maybe bending one knee, then the other. Lift way up onto the toes, bend your knees, and push back into those thighs so you've got a really super long line with the back. And then walk your hands back to the feet, slowly rolling up. Bring your hands to the heart and take a few steps forward on the mat. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale down. Lift to a flat back, shoulders roll away. Exhale, fold. On your next breath, step back with the left foot and lower onto the knee, uncurl the toes. So from here, you can do what we did on the other side. You want to hold in energy, maybe create a bind, hug that leg tightly. Keep the neck long, breathing deeply. Otherwise, I'm going to weight bear on my left hand and right arm's going to come way up into the air. Lots of breath. Soften into those hips and then bring the hand down. If you're hugging that thigh, release, bring the hands to the floor. Flip that back foot under. Go from lunge to down dog. And then roll forward onto the hands and knees, uncurl the toes, and push your way back. Move into a child's pose. Pull your hands back and slowly pushing up, moving into the hero. So I'm sitting on my heels. And you have a couple of options here as we go forward. If you want to keep the energy in the body, cross one hand, then the other, and just roll your shoulders back and down and soften into this posture and see if you can find stillness. If this feels like crap for your legs, then you could just always drop to the hip or find another comfortable seated position. If you want to express energy, bring the hands behind the head, lacing the fingertips, and open the elbows away from each other, creating a little bit of an arch in the back. Just holding here. And then whichever posture you have chosen, release, bring your hands forward, walk the feet back, and lower down to the floor. Take a moment just lying here on your mat, face down. or balancing on a chin if you have to keep talking like I do. Deepen the breath and notice the sensation of the tops of the feet resting on the floor. Start to press your hands into the floor and then engage through the core muscles. Roll your shoulders back enough to lift up. And maybe as you lift up, we roll a little bit to the side. So you're pushing up, looking over one shoulder. I'm looking over the left shoulder. And then we come all the way down. I'm going to do that on the other side. So starting to come up into a baby cobra, but actually pushing up on one side so we can kind of lean back, looking over a shoulder, and then releasing down. It's subtle, but there's a twist here. Let's do that again on the first side. And down. Inhale, lifting up, twisting, looking over the opposite shoulder, and down. Couple more times. Inhale, look and lift. And down. Last time, looking and lifting. And then down. Bring the arms in front of your head, crossing the arms, and just rest. If you're wanting this to be an active posture, engage through the glutes, stretch out through your toes. If you're keeping all the energy you have, soften and let the heels fall out to the sides. Good. Straighten those legs, bring the hands back, flip your toes, push up and back, and then drop into a seated position. Very nice work. Once again, I'm going to try and move so I'm not quite directly in the sunlight. So part of that kind of flow we were working in and out of was starting to focus on the hip flexors. And when we feel like energy is blocked, often there's a tightness in our hips, and that can spread to other parts of the body. So a posture that we have not enjoyed for a while, and I can hear everybody starting to groan, but it's the cow face pose. So let's work our way through this posture. It's such an important position to work on. And we're going to do it in the traditional kind of seated way. And then we're going to do it flipped onto our backs, which might feel more accessible. And what I want you to do when we're finished kind of going through it in both ways, think about which way is a little bit more expressive with energy and which way might be a little bit more receptive. So in which kind of the posture are you kind of releasing energy, and which kind of way of doing the posture allows you to hold on to that energy? And maybe the whole thing is so miserable you don't get to that question, but do your best. So for the cow face pose, I'm going to start with a leg extended forward. I'm starting with my left leg, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take my other leg and step over. And then holding on to that bent leg, I'm just going to pull myself up, shoulders roll down. Think about this really nice, tall, seated position here. We're just kind of taking our time, making sure the body is good physically with this. And the way we know that is the body mirroring the breath. So is the body holding its position and the breath is flowing? Or is the breath starting to become rigid as the body tips over? I'm going to move the bottom leg now. So I'm just going to lean over to the side and pull that leg back. So maybe this is comfortable, and this is actually the philosopher's pose. So you can kind of sit up nice and tall here. We've got a little bit of a twist, and you can start to kind of play around with this. See if you can wiggle into enough of a posture where both of your sits bones are connected to the floor. So the bones kind of under your bum cheeks both should feel like they are connecting into the ground like a plug into a socket. And that's important because really in this posture, you are pulling energy up. Okay, want to go deeper? I'm going to take this top leg and pull it across. A little bit of negotiation here. My hips are very tight because I haven't been doing this posture. Okay. So for cow face pose, the goal is to stack your knees, have fairly relaxed feet. And you can start by making sure you have nice length in the spine, maybe adding some arms behind you as a support. You could take the opposite hand to the top knee and then another one on top, shoulders roll down. Think about what's happening when we do this. Deepen that breath. And if you happen to be grinding your teeth, please stop. Good, lots of deep breath here. So take a moment and think about what this is doing for you energetically. It's a huge challenge. But is it giving you energy or is it taking it away? The upper part of the posture, we are not going to do because we haven't done a lot of shoulder opening. So we're just going to be comfortable here. If you wanted to go a little bit deeper into the stretch, you could start to gently fold forward or just leaning in, seeing what your hips are comfortable with. This is about as comfortable as I'm going to get in this posture tonight. All right, walking back, hands behind you and releasing your legs, a little bit of a bounce. Really deep breaths here. Excellent work. Let's move to the other side. So I think this time I'm stepping over this way and just pulling in. Because we do these classes on Zoom, I realize that Zoom has like a noise canceling feature. So when my dogs start barking, you don't hear it. And I realized that when I'm doing this like heavy kind of exhalation, you may not be hearing that. So I'll try and enunciate with my face. Okay, I'm going to go deeper into this posture now by pulling that bottom leg back. And wiggle down onto both of your sit bones so we have this lovely interpretation of the philosopher's pose. This is actually a lovely posture. I mean, it looks beautiful, but hopefully you feel smarter in it. Now think about what you need. Maybe this is great. If you want to go deeper, you can start to negotiate with your legs. Again, we're working towards kind of doing a little bit of a stacking action here. And then I'm going to bring the opposite hand to the knee and the other hand on top, shoulders roll down, nice and tall, deep breath because this is tight. I bet you $5 your hips are tight. Oh. Breathe. Smile. If it feels good to lean into this, you could do that. You don't have to. And pushing up, hands behind you and releasing the legs, bouncing. Okay, so let's turn this posture into a slightly different alignment. And we're going to come back to that question about when are you holding the energy in? When are you releasing it out? The answer will be specific to you, and it's based on what you're observing and what you're noticing without judgment. I say as I judge myself for having really tight hips. Okay, down to our backs. We're going to bring the legs up into the air. And let's start left over right. So as you bring the left leg over the right leg, bring those feet as far apart as possible and then bend at the knees. Definitely you want to grab a hold of ankles to begin, shoulders are back. If you want, you can pull in through your knees, giving yourself a hug. If your legs can hold this position without being held in position, think about what happens when you open the arms out to the side. You can have cactus arms, or you can kind of just surrender to the floor. Or surrender to the little adorable dog. Good boy, Ted. Slowly start to untangle the legs. If you are also covered with dogs, watch out. And we're going to bring the legs up into the air. So we're going to cross the legs the other way this time. I think that is now right over left. Bring the feet in opposite directions. Bend at the knees. Negotiate what you can. Holding on to ankles to begin with. And then holding on to knees if you can. And then if the legs will stay in place, think about again, surrendering those arms. And then slowly untangling, bring your feet down to the floor. So take a moment, just let the knees rest against each other. Feet are kind of as wide as the outer edges of the mat. And just rest here for a moment. Good. Let's pull the knees into the tummy and then roll up to a seated posture. And we're going to go back into another hip opener. And this is another posture that we don't often do in kind of our virtual classes. But I do want to come into it again with the same question to you, which is this a way to release energy, or is this a way for you to hold on to energy? So let's come onto our hands and knees. And we're actually going to go into a pigeon pose. So pigeon is a pretty well-known hip opener, but we haven't done it forever, so we'll go through it bit by bit. So we're going to start by bringing my left knee towards my left hand. So I'm just going to kind of step up forward here. And when I said knee, I meant my foot. Because there's a step in between. Pardon me. And then from here, we now want to bring the left foot across to the right hand, walking it over, which allows us then to drop that knee. So now my left knee is by my left hand. Okay, this doesn't feel like a pigeon, does it? From here, find your place of comfort. So ideally, we want to negotiate that leg back, the extent the leg moves back. Uncurl your toes. So I'm staying lifted in the posture. My shoulders are away from my chest. Nice long neck. Dog. And if you want, if it's more comfortable, you can start to lower down onto the forearms. And if this posture is not your friend, just rest in child's pose. To release, we're going to move up onto the hands, flip that back foot. Let's move all the way up and back to down dog. Big lift up there. And then back down to our hands and our knees. And I'll see if I can talk you through it better this time, or in a way that makes more sense. So we're going to start by moving the right foot towards the right hand. So I've got my leg on the inside of the hand. And then I'm going to walk that right foot over towards the left hand, dropping the right knee down. And then I stretch back and negotiate that back leg. I'd like to start lifted here in the posture. Chest is proud. And you can stay here, or you can start to lower down to the forearms. Whatever feels good is good. Flip side of that is whatever does not feel good, don't do it. Especially not in a yoga class. To release this, we make our way up onto the hands, and I'm going to drop onto the hip and bring everything forward. Lengthen through your back and then just fold into this, giving yourself a gentle hug. And then we're going to come back onto the mat. Bring one knee into the tummy, shoulders are back. Stretch the other leg out. Deepen your breath, soften into this posture as much as you can. And then switch sides. And then release. We're going to go into our Shavasana and choose whatever position works for you. You can stretch out doing corpse pose in a traditional way, or you can rest deeply, maybe with your knees resting against each other, feet on the outer edges of the mat, arms wherever. And I invite you, in whatever position you choose, to just surrender to your mat, surrender to the remainder of the practice. And use this time to either let your brain completely rest, kind of immersing yourself in the physical sensations of just simply being, or use the time to reflect on how you navigated that exchange of energy and reflect on the outcome or impact that it made. Start to deepen your breath. You can move your head from shoulder to shoulder. Enjoy a huge stretch from fingers to toes. And then pull your knees into your tummy and give yourself a great big hug. Then when you're ready, moving up to a seated posture. Do one more check-in with yourself. How are you feeling? Did you shift or restore what you needed to? Did anything surprise you or shock you? Besides the tightness of your hips, which if you're anything like me, I'm like, oh my gosh, why weren't we doing that for the past 8 weeks? Yikes. And then just allow me to share some gratitude with you. Again, as I was saying earlier, it's been 8 weeks of a summer session that I was not convinced anybody would show up for. It makes me really happy that we've been able to rediscover the joy of a summer practice. And I'm delighted that people made time in their busy schedules to share this space, either live or the recorded version. That's all very meaningful, and it makes me very much want to continue. But next week I will be in Toronto enjoying my favorite band, and then we'll all take a little bit of a break before coming back together in the fall. So on behalf of Jeff and Ted and myself, namaste. Thank you. Namaste, Ted. And I hope that you continue to have beautiful energy. Bring for yourself.
Hey, Barb, have a great time in Toronto. And remember, you can't get rid of us.
Thanks, Barb. Have a great time.
Thank you.